Welcome back to Monster Tamer, a 2D Pokemon-like RPG created Phaser 3. Previously, we started working on refactoring our health bar class into a new shared reusable component so we can create our EXP bar. If you missed the previous videos, there'll be links in the video description to the source code up to this point, as well as complete source code for this video. There will also be a link to previous videos if you'd like to catch up. So let's get started. So now that we have our new shared reusable animated bar class, what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and create our new EXP bar. And so for our EXP bar, it's going to be very similar to the health bar class that we refactored in our last video. And so what we'll do is let's make a new file under our common folder. And so we'll do exp bar.js, and we'll go ahead and create our class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all of our logic from our health bar class into our EXP bar class. And so what we'll do is let's go ahead and rename this. We're going to do EXP bar. And so what we need to do for our EXP bar class is we need to go ahead and update our assets that we'll be using. And so for our shadow assets, we'll keep our health bar asset keys here. But then for our main assets, our left, middle, and right, we need to go ahead and reference our EXP bar asset keys that we imported before. And so this will be our EXP left cap. Let's go ahead and update our references. And so we'll have our middle, we'll have our right. And so we'll have EXP middle, and we'll have EXP right cap. All right, and so for our EXP bar, we're also going to want to add one more property, and this is going to be our scaling. So in our battle scene, our EXP bar is a little bit smaller than our HP bar. And so when we created our animated bar class, one of the configuration properties we can pass is our scale property here. And so what we'll want to do is in our EXP bar class, we'll want to go ahead and override that value to what we want to use for this bar here. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and add one more parameter to our class here. So we're just going to copy our value here from our width. We're going to change this to be scale Y. And for our default value, what we'll do is we'll do 0.4. And we'll go ahead and update our documentation real quick. So we'll have our scale Y factor of our health bar component. We'll change this to be EXP bar component. And we'll update all those references real quick. So we'll have health bar container, EXP bar container, and EXP bar. All right, and then let's go ahead and add that to our constructor. And so we'll have our scale Y. We'll set that equal to our 0.4 for our default value. And then we'll go ahead and just pass this in. And so we'll go ahead and get rid of this, and we'll have our scale Y. All right, so now we have our new class. We need to go ahead and update our scenes to use this. So we're going to go ahead and start with our battle scene. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and jump over to our preload scene, and I'm going to go ahead and update our default scene. So we skip our title scene. Let's jump right into battle. Then let's go ahead and open up our player battle monster class. And so we'll do our player battle monster. And so inside this class, this is where we create all of our UI components for our display here for our player battle monster. And so inside this class is where we'll want to add in our new EXP bar. So what we'll do is let's go ahead and add a new property to our class. And so we'll make this private. We're going to call this EXP bar. And let's go ahead and copy our type definition real quick. Go ahead and paste it. And so for our type, this will be our EXP bar. And then what we'll do is down our constructor, we're going to head and create a new method, and we'll reference it here. And so we'll do this. We'll do our private. We'll do add EXP bar components. And so similar like what we did with our health bar components, we'll go ahead and extend and add new functionality to our display. And so for this, let's go ahead and add a brand new method. We'll come down to the bottom of our class. Let's go ahead and add in this private method. So we'll have our add EXP bar components. And then we're not going to return anything. So let's go ahead and add our type definition, and we'll set our returns to be void. And so now inside this method, this is where we'll create an instance of our EXP bar. And so what we'll do is we'll do this. We'll reference our EXP bar property. We'll set equal to a new EXP bar instance. So we'll do this. We'll reference our scene. And we need our positioning. So for our X value, we'll do 34, and we'll do 54 for our Y value. As we go ahead and save, we should see our EXP bar now show up on our scene. And now we just need to place it inside our container, so that way it's in the correct position. So what we'll do is we'll do this. We'll reference our phaser health bar container. We'll use add, and let's go ahead and add in our EXP bar container. So now when our scene starts and animates, we'll see we don't see it. And then eventually as our player's monster stuff displays, now we can see our EXP bar, and it is full all the way. And so what we'll want to do is this should be reflective of how much current experience the monster has. For the time being, we're just going to use a default value just so we can make sure everything's working properly. So what we'll do is we're just going to reference our EXP bar, and we're going to call our set meter percentage animated method. And we're just going to go ahead and do 0.5 as a start. And for our additional configuration, we're going to do our skip battle animations. We'll set that to true. So when our battle first starts, we don't need to animate. We just need to be set to the correct value. So then one last thing we need to do is for our EXP bar, we're going to go ahead and add a prefix of EXP. So then that way the player knows what this bar represents. So we'll go ahead and create a text game object to do that. And so we'll do const, we'll do monster EXP text. We're going to set that equal to this, our scene. We'll do add, we'll do text. And now for our positioning, we want to do 30 for our X, 100 for our Y. For our text, we'll do EXP. And now for our font family, we'll go ahead and do our Kenny font family. For our color, we're going to go ahead and do 650 5FF. Font size, we'll go ahead and do 14 pixels. And we're going to go ahead and make this italic. So we'll do our font style, and we'll do italic. And we'll go ahead and save. Oh, and then real quick, let's go ahead and add that to our container, so then that way it's positioned in the proper location. So we'll go ahead and place that here. All right, so now when our scene refreshes, we should see after animates in, we should see our EXP bar with our EXP prefix. So now that we updated our battle scene to have this EXP bar, we want to go ahead and do the same thing inside our monster detail scene. All right, so go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and jump over to our preload scene real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and update our starting scene again. We'll go ahead and do our monster detail scene. So then what we'll do is let's go ahead and open up that class. And so we'll have our monster details scene. And what we'll want to do is at the very bottom, after we create all of our game objects and we go right before we bring our scene to our top, this is what we'll go ahead and add in our new game object. So we're just going to add a comment. We'll do add monster exp details. And then I'm just going to add a to do. For some of our values, we're going to go ahead and hard code this just like what we did in our battle scene. So we can actually see what's here, and we'll eventually need to grab this from our data manager. So we'll do a to do. We'll do update with real exp. And so now on this scene, what we're going to show is we want to show the monster's current experience. We'll also want to go ahead and show how much experience they need to reach to the next level. And for both of these are just going to be text game objects with the actual value. And then we'll have our exp bar that'll show how close they are to reaching that next level. And so to go ahead and do that, let's go ahead and create some new text game objects. We'll do this, we'll do add, we'll do text. And now for our text, for our position, for our first one, we'll do 20 and we'll do 340. And we're going to do current exp. And then we'll need to go ahead and do our font styling. So for time being, we'll go ahead and leave this blank. We'll do set origin, and we're going to do 0. We'll do 0, 0. Next, we'll want the actual value of this. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this line of code here. I'm going to go ahead and paste it. And so for our positioning, what we'll do is we'll do 516. So we'll go ahead and move it over on our X, and we'll keep our same Y. But then for our value, let's do hard code of 5 for the time being. And then for our positioning, we want to go ahead and do 1 for our origin for our X, and we'll keep 0 for our Y. And I'm going to copy both these lines of code. And now we want to go ahead and display how much they need to the next level. So we'll have the same X position here, but we're going to go ahead and move this down in our scene. So we'll do 365 for our Y value. And then we'll do the same thing for our next line as well. And so for our text, we're going to do exp to next level, and we'll keep our same origin. And then for here, we're also going to do a hard code 5. So if we go ahead and save, we should see our scene update, and we should see our text. It's very hard to read, so we'll update our styling here in a second, but we can see that it is showing up where we want it to. So last thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and add in our exp bar. And so what I'm going to do is jump over to our player battle monster class. I'm going to go ahead and copy our text for our monster exp text real quick. I'm going to go ahead and paste that. And we're just going to go ahead and do this, add text. We don't need to store a reference to this, so let's go ahead and just do this .add text. For our position, we're going to do 108 for our Y, for our X, and then 382 for our Y. And we'll keep the same font styling that we applied here. So now we just need to do our exp bar. And so I'm going to also go ahead and copy these two lines of code, and we'll go ahead and paste it here. And so for this, we'll just do const, we'll do exp bar, and then that way we can just reference our exp bar here. And then we need to go ahead and import our class. And we just pass this instead of this scene. For our positioning, we want our X to be 70, and we'll go ahead and do 200 for our Y value. So now if we go ahead and save, we should see that our EXP text in our bar shows up below our new text game objects. So let's go ahead and update our styling so it's a little bit easier to read. So let's go to the top of our class. And what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm just gonna copy this text style here. We're gonna go ahead and paste it. And now for our variable name, we're gonna do monster exp text style. So we'll do Kenny, we'll keep the same color, but then for our font size, let's do 22 pixels. So now what we'll do is we'll come back down to our text game objects, and let's go ahead and pass in that font styling to all of our game objects. All right, so now if we go ahead and save, much better. So now the black will make it pop a little bit more, and now we can see our values. All right, so one last thing we're gonna do is let's jump back to our preload scene, and we're gonna reset this back to our title scene. All right, with that brings this video to an end. In our next video, we're going to start working on adding an actual logic for gaining experience for our monsters, and so we'll also update our monsters' data types to store our experience. So as a reminder, there's a link in the description of the video to complete source code for this video, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did enjoy the video, please consider liking the video and hitting the bell icon to be notified when the next video in the series is released. For more great Phaser 3 content, please click on the links on your screen now.